We know that, Shemilo, we know that what is trending outside the country, but what's trending in Lagos, Nigeria, is the fact that athletes are protesting over the exclusion from the sport festival. And the update is this, that the sport ministry has said that henceforth we will not be including para athletes to the national sport festival, that they have their own sport festival, which happened earlier this year. Some have shouted and said, oh no, this is not the best moment. This is not even a good moment at all, that it is wrong. And that's what caused the good luck yesterday at the Aziz of Surulere National Stadium. Your experience and your opinion, and from the report you've gathered, say a little bit about this.
Well, the Paralympic athletes have been excluded from the National Sports Festival, which is sad. The National Sports Festival is supposed to be a festival that should bring everybody together, both the Igbo athletes and the Paralympic athletes across Nigeria, across all 36 states in the country. But they've been excluded because the Nigerian Federation, Sporting Federation, wants to create a new Paralympic tournament for them that will be strictly for them and will allow them express themselves across different tournaments, across different sports, and they won't have to compete with the able-bodied ones. But it has come at a time when they felt like they were not duly informed, felt like they were not duly included in the decision making, and then they just sprung up. The information just came up to them, and then they they felt ostracized, left in the gallows, left out of the loop, and then that has brought them out to come and protest, because it's unfair to them, it's unfair, and it's very and it's sad generally, because sports is something that should bring everybody together, something that should make everybody happy when you do it, something that should bring everybody, put joy on your face, put smiles on your face, but then it has left them in such
Yeah, now we've been covering the National Sport Festival for a very long time, and we call it our own Olympics. But we know that in Olympic sport power, that power games are not included in Olympic sport power. That means we have the Paralympics and we have the Olympics. Don't you think taking off the para athletes to have their own games will take off the shine of the National Sport Festival, that we know that it has a gathering of all sport athletes together? What's your opinion? Do you also agree to let the para athletes have their own sports festival, and while the able bodies continue with our own National Sports Festival?
Well, yes, to an extent, I do agree with that. But then I feel like the approach at which has been done, or it was being done, was what caused, or is what is causing the whole protest. Like you said, the National Sports Festival is something that brings everybody together collectively, both the Paralympics and the Paralympians and the able-bodied ones. But then again, now separating them out of the loop without proper and due confirmation, without proper and due consideration, makes it very hard for them to accept it, because to a lot of people don't take change lightly. A lot of people don't just accept change as it comes. It has to grow on them. They have to live it and relive it and understand it before they can actually understand it and enjoy it. So I think that is where the problem is. Earlier this year, I think in April, yes, the Paralympians had like a test run of their own event in Abuja.
Yes.
And I think that sort of helped ease a few people from other states, a few athletes from other states. Yeah. But for those in Lagos, in Benin City, they felt left out. Yes. Because like I said, it's change. A lot of them are not open to this change. A lot of them are not. It feels new to them. It feels like they are being what they are used to. They are being taken out of it, and they do not, like it. They are not. It's not favorable for them. But I do believe that it will be favorable because it gives them a level playing field. They don't have to compete with the able-bodied ones. They have to compete with their likes, and it gives a level playing field for all of them to express themselves and compete.
Yeah, well said. But before I let you go, there are more questions even from what you said. Earlier this year, we had the first the first Para Athletes Games, and a lot of states in the country did not participate in. Lagos State was part of the state that did not participate in that. Ogun State and other states, and now those athletes were not feeling that, oh, we didn't participate in the first ever Para Games in Abuja. Now there's going to be an exclusion of Para events in the National Sport Festival that is taking place in Delta, Asaba, coming end of November. So that's also one of the protests. What do you think the government should have done, knowing that these people, the next Para Games will have to be next year for states like Lagos State, for states like Ogun State, and some few other states that did not attend the inaugural edition? What kind of compensation or how best do you think the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport to go with this?
I think inclusion is something that we take lightly, but then it is something that matters a lot, especially in terms of disability. You know, when you have disabled people, they always want to be included in all of these things, sports, entertainment, and so on. So I understand that they will feel aggrieved that they were excluded from the National Sports Games and not being properly, they were not properly communicated to. Yes. That there were games earlier this year, and then it will continue again next year, and then from then 2 years on it will go on. So I think subsequently the government should ensure that they are well informed, that each state should enforce it, that each state should actually provide athletes and they should compete. This way it helps everybody feel included. It gives them that sense of feeling that they are there, they are included, and then they are wanted. People want to see them. People want to appreciate them and appreciate what they do. Because now, being left out from these games, they feel like they are not wanted. They are like second, yeah, and they don't want to feel like that. So subsequently, the government should just ensure that they are well informed. Communication goes very well. Communication goes across all states, and they should ensure that every state participates. Every state should provide an athlete that will participate. That way, even if it's one athlete, they are represented. The state is duly represented, and subsequently, as time goes on, they will all partake in it comfortably.
Yes. Lastly, before I let you go, someone said, and a bit about that though they have the right reason to protest, but the form of protest which we saw, the old Surulere as is blocked. The National Stadium was also locked for a very good hour of the day. There were tear gas. You can see that blood between the police and the athletes. Someone said that's not the best way they should have reacted, and others they keep wondering that what best way do you think they should have protested after writing letters to the licensing officer at the National Stadium and other directors that have the office at the National Stadium? Do you think of any other better option than what they did by blocking the highway?
Well, blocking highways like that are like the quickest way to get attention. Blocking a major road, protests are like the quickest way to get attention in this country generally. But I do not agree that they should have blocked, the highway and the motorists that are moving that axis. I understand that they have written letters time and time again. They would have been ignored. They would have been given here. Yeah. They would not have pleased. They would not have been ears to their pleas. But then again, I feel like there are better ways it could have been handled. There are better ways it could have been that they are
answered.
They could have aired their pleas. Yeah. So avoid bloodshed like it has, and also the old tear gas and all of that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shemilore. I'm sure that you also be in the National Sport Festival in Delta. Thank you for your time, and thank you for in-depth analysis, especially on this matter and that of Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo. Thank you very much, Shemilore.
Thank you for having me.
Yet, there's an update on the protest, and the update is that before the protest, the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport just allowed 3 para events for the upcoming National Sport Festival in Delta. That's the para table tennis, para weightlifting, and one other sport. But I can't remember right now. But after the protest, the sport ministry has decided that no more, henceforth, going forward, there is no more para event at the National Sport Festival. In this this coming sport festival in Asaba and other subsequent sports festival, there is no longer para event. The para games will have their own games separate, and the able games, the National Sport Festival, will have their own games separate. And that's all we could take on today's program. Thank you for joining up. I'm still Mudashiru Shitu. Same time tomorrow, we'll be giving you all what you need to know in the world of sport. Bye for now.